If modern dating feels like a confusing nightmare, you can actually blame millions of years of human evolution. Long before dating apps, our ancestors were using everything from ancient red ochre to the unique whites of their eyes to signal attraction in a high-stakes game of survival. You just edited your text message for the fourth time today. First, you swapped the emoji, then removed it entirely before finally adding it right back in again. After vocalizing the words out loud to check the vibe, you hit send and instantly regretted your decision. Currently, your mobile device sits screen down on the desk while you fake total apathy. But here is the big secret about this exact anxiety. It is far from a new phenomenon. This stress isn't exclusively yours, nor is it the fault of swipe culture, nervous tendencies, or the harsh reality of modern judgment. In fact, this sensation dates back millions of years. Wanting a specific person to pick you represents the most ancient tale in human history. Discovering how our prehistoric ancestors navigated romance will definitely ease your mind about those four endless text revisions. To understand this, we must look past our own species, since the story of attraction actually began with fish. Consider the male bowerbird who invests weeks into constructing a complex display of colorful items, rocks, and twigs, all for a female who simply strolls by, quietly evaluates his work, and decides whether to stick around or walk away. Then there is the peacock, burdened by massive plumage that severely hinders its ability to run, developed entirely for visual appeal. Even the male fiddler crab exhausts his own muscles by relentlessly flashing a giant single claw at any female walking by. Whenever you agonize over your outfit for 40 minutes before a date, you are participating in this exact same biological ritual. The goal is always to broadcast your presence and get seen, because natural selection ignores embarrassment and strictly rewards effective results. Long before humanity even existed, this basic mating blueprint was fully operational. Advertise your assets, demonstrate your abilities, and demand attention. While the exact tactics have evolved over time, the underlying biological code remains completely unchanged. To see this unbroken biological code in action, we just need to look at humanity's oldest recorded flirting tool, the color red. Traveling back 75,000 years to South Africa's southernmost tip at Blombo's cave, we find early humans crushing iron-rich rocks called red ochre into a vibrant, deep red powder. Archaeologists discovered the grinding stones, raw ochre chunks, and mixing bowls all clustered together inside the single cave from that exact era. While their precise intentions remain a mystery, experts strongly suspect these people were painting their own bodies. Traces of this crimson pigment have been uncovered on ancient human skin, inside shell containers, and on animal bones functioning as makeup applicators. This identical behavioral pattern repeats across dozens of prehistoric sites throughout Europe and Africa. Wherever early humans gathered, red ochre appears, and massive deposits of this pigment always correlate with complex social interactions. Think about it. Wearing bright red does not help you hide from predators, catch prey, build a shelter, spark a fire, or sharpen a tool. Instead, it makes you highly visible and completely impossible to ignore. Throughout recorded history, every single society has utilized red to signal attraction through tinted lips, flushed cheeks, or special clothing for important occasions. The ancient Romans did it, the Egyptians did it, and indigenous groups across 6 continents figured it out entirely on their own. Today, a massive review of numerous global studies proves individuals are universally perceived as more attractive when wearing red, regardless of gender or the observer's cultural background. When that prehistoric person pulverized a stone and rubbed the pigment on their skin 75,000 years ago, they were deliberately preparing to be seen. In every meaningful way, they were simply getting ready to go out. However, simply looking attractive was only half the battle, because demonstrating your actual value as a long-term mate is an entirely different challenge. Rutgers University anthropologist Helen Fisher has dedicated decades to researching the biological drivers of human romance. Through her extensive work, she discovered that people, much like other social creatures, focus on a single primary factor when sizing up a prospective mate: resources. We are not talking about modern bank accounts, but rather the prehistoric equivalent, the basic ability to provide. Within early hunter-gatherer societies, the ultimate way for a man to broadcast this capability was through acquiring meat. Yet the real flex wasn't merely possessing a fresh kill, it was actively giving that food away. Scientists observing the Ache tribe in Paraguay uncovered a fascinating pattern. The most skilled hunters, those who reliably secured the largest hauls, never hoarded their bounty exclusively for their immediate relatives. Instead, they shared their catches generously across the entire settlement, earning massive social benefits. Even after accounting for other variables, these top providers enjoyed vastly superior social standing, secured far more romantic relationships, and fathered more kids than average hunters. In this context, meat served as much more than mere sustenance. It functioned as a powerful billboard. It silently communicated a vital message. I possess the skills to secure abundance, I have plenty to share, I will keep you fed, and I am a reliable partner. Spotting the contemporary version of this exact dynamic is incredibly easy today. Just think about the individual who picks up the restaurant tab, arrives with a considerate gift, or offers help without being prompted. These actions aren't just polite etiquette dreamed up a few hundred years ago. Rather, they represent a profoundly ancient biological broadcast embedded in every generous gesture aimed at a romantic interest. Ultimately, you are still exchanging prehistoric meat, you have simply swapped out the currency. But physical resources weren't the only currency our ancestors traded, they also dealt in melody. Scientists have heavily debated the origins of music, with many concluding it developed as a mating ritual. Think of it as our version of a peacock's vibrant feathers or a bowerbird's intricate nest. In fact, Charles Darwin suggested in The Descent of Man that our earliest melodies were crafted specifically to woo potential partners. He noted a clear pattern in the animal kingdom. Whenever one gender vocalizes or sings, it is almost always the one fighting for reproductive attention. We see this in howler monkeys, humpback whales, nightingales, and of course, human males. Modern research across diverse societies confirms that musical talent acts as a powerful magnet for romance. For instance, a 2014 paper in the Asterisk Proceedings of the Royal Society revealed that women found men noticeably more appealing simply by being told they played an instrument, even when every other factor remained exactly the same. Furthermore, a separate experiment showed that a guy holding a guitar case had a much higher success rate getting a woman's phone number compared to a guy holding a sports bag or empty hands. Obviously, early humans didn't lug around acoustic guitars. Instead, they sang, beat on drums, and blew into flutes carved from mammoth tusks or vulture wings. Gathered around a campfire while the darkness closed in, the individual creating these tunes was doing much more than just keeping the tribe amused. They were showcasing undeniable proof of their genetic fitness. Rhythm and melody require immense dexterity, deep creativity, countless hours of dedication, and a highly developed mind able to produce pure beauty. And inevitably, sitting just across those flickering flames, a potential mate was taking notice. While sitting by that fire, another surprising trait was likely catching their eye: humor. It might shock you that making someone chuckle is one of the most universal indicators of romantic interest across all human societies. The evolutionary reasoning makes perfect sense because being funny requires massive mental energy. Crafting a genuine laugh demands grasping social dynamics, predicting how others process information, flipping expectations at the exact right second, and utilizing natural comedic timing that cannot be taught. Ultimately, cracking a joke serves as a highly trustworthy billboard for a powerful intellect. A 2015 evolutionary psychology experiment revealed that individuals who successfully made others laugh were judged as significantly smarter, more inventive, and far more physically appealing. Crucially, this dynamic is entirely one-sided. Women place a much higher premium on a funny partner than men do, while men actively deploy jokes way more often when trying to impress an attractive female. Basically, the guy performs and the girl evaluates. This behavioral loop undoubtedly predates modern scientific research by millennia. Gathered around ancient campfires, the person who got the entire tribe laughing was proving their worth just as effectively as the hunter with the biggest kill or the musician playing the most intricate tune. They showcased sharp mental agility and social awareness, proving they were exactly the kind of ally you wanted in your corner. Every single time you try to be funny on a first date, you are actually participating in a prehistoric audition. You just had no idea the casting call started so long ago. Long before modern romance, our ancestors were already mastering the art of the gaze, thanks to a unique physical trait: our eyes. Out of all the primates on Earth, humans alone possess bright white sclera, the visible area encircling the colored iris. In contrast, the rest of our primate cousins feature dark sclera that seamlessly camouflage their irises, effectively hiding exactly where they are looking. Scientists theorize that this stark white contrast developed specifically because our lineage placed a massive premium on making eye contact. This bright backdrop acts like a spotlight, broadcasting the exact trajectory of your stare. It instantly signals when your focus lands on a specific person and just as clearly reveals when they are staring right back. When two mutually attracted individuals lock eyes, their bodies undergo distinct physical changes. Heart rates climb, oxytocin levels surge, and peripheral distractions fade away, triggering a powerful, self-sustaining feedback cycle. As you continue to hold that mutual stare, the interaction gains emotional weight, which in turn makes breaking the connection incredibly difficult. To prove this, scientists at the University of Massachusetts conducted a fascinating experiment. They instructed complete strangers to maintain unbroken eye contact for exactly 2 minutes. The result? These participants experienced a massive spike in mutual affection and romantic attraction, despite having zero interest prior to the test. Our ancient forebears weaponized this biological hack deliberately. They would sustain a meaningful stare across a glowing campfire, sharing a fleeting glance that was just a fraction too intentional to be random, yet just short enough to avoid awkwardness. It was a silent conversation conveying deep emotions that defied spoken language, yet required no translation. Today, you still run this exact same evolutionary software. Whether sitting across a cafe table on a first date or scanning a packed party, holding someone's gaze for just a single extra heartbeat changes everything. Yet the truly fascinating part of this is how little our underlying cues have actually shifted. Throughout 3 million years of human development, surviving ice ages, global migrations, the birth of farming, urban centers, and the internet, our fundamental mating rituals have stayed remarkably consistent. Today, we continue to adorn ourselves in red, present gifts and rely on melodies, jokes, locked gazes, and demonstrations of skill and kindness. We also experience the exact same rush of nervousness while waiting to see if a crush shares our interest. Only the medium has evolved, not the emotion. When editing a text message, second-guessing your outfit, debating if a joke will land, or deciding whether to sustain or drop a glance across a room, you participate in a timeless tradition. Every action is deeply prehistoric, thoroughly road-tested on the African savanna over hundreds of thousands of years. These strategies worked well enough to forge an unbroken chain of individuals who figured it out, leading directly down to you. Your ancestors felt just as terrified. Still, they sent the message anyway.